Welcome back to the Garden with Joe and Holly radio show. Time for your questions, our answers. You've got a question. There's a couple of ways in which you can get that to us. You can send us an email to gardentalkradio@gmail.com, gardentalkradio@gmail.com, or you can jam your fingers in your phone and give us a call at 1-800-927-SHOW, 1-800-927-SHOW. We got a lot of emails that came in this week. A lot of people don't want to talk to us, Holly, but they'd much rather send us an email, which is totally fine. And we're just going to see how many we can make it through here. First question, Holly, is can I use an old tire or tires for raised bed gardening?
Well, most scientific studies so far indicate that tires have health hazards when they're burned. As far as growing in them, there's not really any sort of proof that you can.
Hard evidence, yeah.
Hard evidence. However, it's safer to just grow maybe like some pretty flowers in them.
Right.
Like you've seen, I'm sure, like on Pinterest or whatnot, where they lay them out and spray paint them and grow flowers, and they're really pretty. As far as edibles, it's recommended not to do so.
Yeah, Mother Earth cautions against growing edibles in tires as a long-term practice. As they age, the rubber tires do break down and release that chemicals, those metals, and there's like 24 chemicals and metals in a tire. So the fact that it breaks down slower means that those chemicals aren't going to leach in. There's not really scientific proof. So in the short term, basically, grow in your own discretion. Would we do it? No, unless it was a non-edible plant or some kind of shrub or decorative thing. But many people, we've got a Facebook group, Raised Bed Gardening, I think is the actual name of it. I don't know. We've got a lot of
Raised Bed Gardening.
Yeah, we've got a lot of pictures and a lot of people that are showing that they are growing in tires, and that's their deal. So
you would just want to. You want to use your best discretion.
I mean, growing up on the farm, that we grew tomatoes. I mean, not all of them, but like a handful of 6-7 tomatoes, because the rubber would warm the soil up much, much quicker.
That explains a lot of things.
Oh, does it really? Okay. Can you please advise me? Next question. Moving on. Can you please advise me on what to put under trees? I used bark and landscape material under it, but the weeds grew through it. I now have planted ground cover under the trees, and it seems to be working. Should I continue to do that? Also, do I need to plant more ground cover? And additionally, what is a good bean to grow? I don't want the flat ones. I had those last year and I didn't like them. Any advice? Thank you very much.
Yeah, so you can...
A lot of stuff there, but let's work through it.
You can keep the ground cover if that's working. If it's worked, don't... If it's not broke, right. Don't fix it, right?
Yeah, now if you need to add more, but also now be aware some ground cover spreads and propagates by itself. So you need to be cautious of kind of what ground cover you may be getting into.
Right. So yeah, definitely keep the ground cover, but be aware of what you're using. As far as green beans, we like Blue Lake, whether they're pole or bush beans.
Very good beans.
Great, round, flavorful.
But you want to harvest them before the actual seed inside that bean gets big, because if you I'll wait until it's big and bulky, I'll have more bean. You're going to be gnawing through beans. You want a medium-sized bean when the seed inside of it is still very tender.
Right.
So you want to harvest it early on. Not when it's tiny, but when it's, medium size.
I'm looking to grow watermelon. I have failed many times. I usually just end up with small, unripe melon. I'm in zone 4B. Is it too late this season? What's the best method? I'm willing to try anything, but most of my growing is in a traditional garden bed. Thank you.
Well, nothing wrong with the growing in the traditional garden bed. Thank you for the question. When you're in the zones 4, 5 in that area, forget about the 80, 90-pound watermelons. Those are Georgia, Alabama watermelons, 100-pound. We don't have the growing season up here. Now, what we have found in our garden, and we have a video on this, we actually were successful in growing a watermelon. It's called Cream of Saskatchewan. It's a watermelon about the size of a volleyball, 5 to 10 pounds, give or take. Thin, it was yellow in flesh. Some of them are white in flesh. Ours was yellow. And it has a very sweet flavor, and we were able to grow it in a straw bale garden. And I would assume that since we have a regular watering regimen now because of DripWorks irrigation system and the tree diaper and the water hoop, we would be able potentially to grow cream of Saskatchewan watermelons without any issue now because of the consistent watering and the short season, and they're designed to grow in the northern climates of the United States. So certainly a cream of Saskatchewan. Seed Savers Exchange does have those seeds available on their website, or if you can find a kiosk, they may have those also available. Let's see here. Question, what was the product you mentioned on your show in regards to dealing with those nasty Japanese beetles and grubs?
That's Phylum Bioproducts. That's PHYLLOM Bioproducts.com. Phylum Bioproducts.
All right. Question about Jerusalem artichokes here. How do you prepare Jerusalem artichokes? I'm not sure, and I don't even know if I should grow them. What can you advise me on?
Sure. So we roast and bake them. So what we do is we cut them up and put them in a roast, whether it be like in the slow cooker or low and slow in the oven.
I did a casserole with Jerusalem artichokes and potatoes. And
Yeah.
What else did I add to that? I forget. Was it Newton?
Like garlic?
Garlic, yeah. But
Potatoes.
Was it noodles?
Cheese. Yeah.
A lot of cheese. But the key on that was we peeled the Jerusalem artichokes. It got rid of that really earthy taste.
So I'm gonna warn this person.
Okay.
Jerusalem artichokes have this. I think it's a chemical,
Yeah.
essentially. It's like the makeup of the Jerusalem
Right.
artichoke. It's called inulin, not insulin, inulin. And if you don't eat a lot of this inulin consistently, you get gas.
Uh-huh.
And so if you're not used to eating
And some people have it much more intensely than others. We're not trying to be weird or funny or nasty.
gross or anything.
No, but this is
we're
the
trying
reality of it. Yeah.
It's 100%. Like when you made that casserole, I loved it.
Right.
But
It caused problems.
It caused me to have some gas for the next day or whatever, a few hours or whatever. So that does happen. So, but Jerusalem artichokes are delicious, and you might not have that reaction. It just depends on your person, your makeup, whatever. So just keep that in mind. But we do like to roast them. You made that casserole.
We put them in the air fryer.
Yep.
We
made like sunchoke. What's it called? Hash browns.
Right.
Once.
With the air fryer, we clean them, scrub them, and we've only done it with the skins on. We've never done it with the skins off, so we got to try that. We coat them in vegetable or some type of oil, and then air fry them, and they taste almost identical to fried potatoes in the air fryer. So something to look forward to. They're not something you're going to typically find at a grocery store, and even a health food store. It may be very, very scarce if you're able to find them. You're probably going to have to just get the starts or get the tubers and plant them, and or keep in mind that they can be somewhat invasive. We're not talking like mint invasive or raspberry runners invasive, but you can control them. We go in every spring and kind of clean up the edges of the bed. We got about 60 square feet, and then those are the ones in which we can have an early spring harvest, and then after 150 days of 120, 150 days, then we can have a fall harvest when the tops get killed off by the cold temperature.
But I would have to say my favorite way to eat them is in a roast.
Mm-hmm.
They get this really tasty, nutty, buttery flavor when they're cooked like that. So I definitely would recommend that.
Hey there, gardeners. Thanks for checking out this segment of the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show. If you like what you've seen, you can search through the channel and find full in-studio videos of the entire show. If you want to go another route, you can search for it on your favorite podcast platform by searching the Wisconsin Vegetable Gardener radio show or the Gardening with Joey and Holly radio show, and you can download it and take it with you. You can check out all past seasons at our website, thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com, under the radio tabs at the top of the page. We thank you for joining us. We hope you've learned and enjoyed the show, the segment, and we'll see you next time.